PSP was initially released in 2004, and that very fact has always blown me away. It's a console that's way more powerful and modern than it has any right to be. I adore its expansive library and consider it to be one of the best handheld systems around, so let's look at 5 of the most visually impressive games on the system. Full disclosure, these games are all emulated, so they may and they do have some artifacting at times. Also, for the first time in this series, I'm showing both native and up-resed footage. I'll start each game with native and switch to a short up-resed clip near the end for comparison. Tony Hawk's Underground 2 from 2005 is one of the best handheld ports ever made. This game is geometrically almost identical to the original release of Thug 2, with the texture quality and screen res being the only notable downgrades. The developer, Sharba Games, managed to get this thing running at a consistent 30 frames and even have the cutscenes running in-engine. Though Creator Park is missing, this game features 4 new levels, making it arguably the best version of the game in terms of content, and the new levels are just as densely detailed as the originals. On top of all this, it's a PSP launch title. Thug 2 Remix's very existence is bewildering, and it's one of my favourite PSP games. Namco's Ridge Racer from 2004 is somewhat of a remixed compilation of older Ridge Racer tracks, cars, and songs, and it is an audio-visual triumph on the PSP. With fantastic looking cars and environments with immensely detailed textures and effects, this was a wonderful showcase of the PSP on release. I like how it lets you hide the heads-up display so you can take a good look at the game, and the announcer will tell you all the info you need in the absence of the HUD. Ridge Racer did get a PSP sequel, but I wanted to mention this one simply because it was another launch title for the system. I've always liked this game and how it looked, yet upscaling it for this video to get a closer look at the textures and models was still a super surprising experience, and it's just crazy that this is a handheld game from 2004. Just a quick note, this game somehow runs at a perfect 60 frames on real hardware, so disregard the frame rate problems here. The Soul Calibur series is known for pushing graphical boundaries on different systems, and 2009's Soul Calibur Broken Destiny is no exception. The environments look fantastic, the character models look fantastic, the effects look fantastic, everything just looks fantastic. Notice how character clothing animates, or how light sources from both the environment and the combat reflect on the characters, or how the floor has 3D depth like a normal mapped material rather than a simple texture. Broken Destiny's presentation can't be faulted. It is amazing. I am going to butcher this title, but this game is called Nayuta no Kiseki. Developed and released only in Japan in 2012 by Nihon Falcom, this is an action RPG and a spin-off in the Legend of Heroes series. Its art style is very cohesive and consistent, and the amount of environmental detail here makes it obvious that this was released later in the PSP's lifecycle. It just has a fantastic, very Japanese look, and it isn't limited or bottlenecked by the tech it's built on. I don't know if it plays well because I have no idea how to read Japanese and couldn't get very far, so I just had fun talking to sheep. Rumor has it there's a fan-made English patch out there if you're interested, but I'm just interested in the visuals, and they are outstanding. Just like Ridge Racer, Burnout Legends is sort of a remix of the first 3 Burnout games, but it plays almost identically to Burnout 3. Released in 2005 by Criterion and EA, the fact that this game looks this good, moves this fast, and plays so well is astonishing, and it's by far one of my favourite PSP games. It runs at a steady 30 frames, which isn't 60, but still feels smooth because there's no frame pacing issues, and considering how this game looks, it is forgivable. To me, this game is basically Burnout 3 on a handheld. It has very little compromise to the real deal, and I find that to be amazing. Fun personal story about this game: last year I took an overnight train from this city to this city, And I can't sleep on trains or vehicles, so I got my PSP and my 3DS and my energy drinks prepared with a whole bunch of different games to keep me going, but the whole time I was just hooked on Burnout Legends, and I didn't really touch any of the other games I brought with me. This is an 11.5-hour train trip too. This game is just that good. If you own a PSP and you're a Burnout fan, you owe it to yourself to pick this game up. And with that, we've covered 5 graphically impressive PSP games. If there's anything different I've noticed when making and researching for this video as opposed to the GBA or DS videos, it's that these games are generally just better. The PSP is clearly much more powerful than those two handhelds, so when it comes to this sort of stuff, it isn't punching above its weight as much, and the result is some fantastic handheld games. So yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. If you missed my last video, I have a Discord now, so join that if you want to, and have a good one.